Kia ora everyone. I want to talk with you today about an aspect of the writing program that really excites me, that really motivates me. Yep, it's that whole aspect of topic and task selection. It's all about what do we get our kids to write about and how do we go about coming up with topics and getting kids involved in topics. That is so important. For let's be honest with ourselves, it's actually topics and tasks that excite kids in our writing programs. No kid ever got excited by a learning goal. Most kids don't get excited by a text type or a genre. It's what they write about and how they go about it that really excites and motivates them. I want to share with you today about 5 major points on this, and as I do this, I want you to think about 2 or 3 aspects of your own teaching in relation to topic and task selection. I want you to think about, so the topics and tasks that I currently undertake with my kids, share with my kids, where do they come from? Are they meaningful and purposeful for my kids? Do my kids see them as authentic? Do I give them a say in what they can write about? Do I involve them in coming up with topics and tasks? And do I take account of cultural diversity in this whole notion of topic and task selection? Really important questions for you to think about. Now, I want to get on to my first big point. My first big point is just this, that we actually recognise that careful topic task selection is at the heart of our classroom writing program. As I said to you before, that's what excites kids, that's what motivates kids. It's got to be at the heart of our program. Arguably the most important aspect of the program that we need to think about. Now, I really proved this to myself in my doctoral research. In my doctoral research, wherein I looked at the practice of 9 exemplary teachers of writing across the country, I found a huge association between teachers who were really good at helping kids come up with great topics that were meaningful, authentic to them, topics that the kids had a say in writing. I saw a huge association between teachers being good at that and teachers being able to generate huge learner gains. Yep, it was the topic, it was the task that actually led to those huge learner gains in many cases. Now, after my doctoral research, I then undertook a major survey across the country of about 450 year 5 to 8 students. And I asked them, so what do you like, dislike about writing? What do you like, dislike about the writing program that you undertake? I want to share with you now just some of the comments that those kids made related to task and topic. Right. A year 6 boy said, I hate writing because you always have to write on boring topics. A year 7 girl said, it gets boring if it's not a topic you enjoy. A year 8 boy said, writing is quite a boring and bland subject, and what we write about just doesn't give me any interest at all. A year 8 girl said, topics that interest me are never chosen, therefore I have no motivation. And a year 8 boy said quite thoughtfully, I like writing if I have a choice about what I write about, or if the topic is one that I enjoy. Yep, topic task selection is at the heart of the writing program. That's my first big point. The second big point to you is actually just ensuring that our topics and tasks are purposeful and meaningful to our kids. They've got to actually know and appreciate why they're writing about them. They've got to get excited about them. So to do this, to make sure that topics and tasks are purposeful and meaningful, I look to 3 main sources for a program. These are my 3 main sources. Probably number 1 for me is the kids' own lives, their interests, their experiences, their imaginations, their understandings. Maybe generated by by questions like, so what have you been doing recently that might be of interest to other people? Don't just think about the huge things you've been doing that you think others might want to know about. Think about the little things in your life. Think about the argument that maybe you had with your brother or sister on the way to school this morning. Think about something funny or that maybe mum or dad did or said over the weekend that you think others would enjoy. Yep, number 1 for me is the kids' own lives. Number 2 for me is the text that they access. Not just the books they read or are read to them, but I'm also thinking about them going online and all the stimulation they find from finding sites online which give them writing ideas. And number 3 I'm thinking though is just the cross-curricular challenges and opportunities that come up in the classroom that kids can use for writing. I know all about volcanoes now. How can I write about them? Oh, I know all about how a car engine works now. How can I explain that to a reader through my writing? So I'm going to reiterate that to make sure that topics and tasks are meaningful and purposeful to kids. It's those 3 main sources that I get topics and tasks from. The kids' own lives, the text that they access, as well as the cross-curricular opportunities and challenges that arise. That's my second point. My third point, making sure that actually we give kids a say in what they write about, that we involve them in topic and task selection. Now, this is obviously reasonably easy for independent writing, when in many cases kids can write on the things they want to write about, etc. But I'm also thinking about your instructional program. How can you make sure kids have a say in what they're writing about or how they're going about it in your instructional program? Now, to me, a really important aspect here is having open topics. Topics or themes or notions or ideas that are so open the kids can do their own thing within them. So rather than just saying, you will write on this or you will write on that or you will write on something else, actually opening up the theme or the topic so kids can do their own thing within it. Let me give you some examples. It might be me going into the classroom and saying to the kids, what really annoys me, you kids, and I tell them something that really annoys me, what have they got to do? They've got to tell me something that really annoys them. Don't just tell me, write about it. Oh, what's another idea? That was naughty. What's the naughtiest thing you've ever done that you've never got caught for? Everyone's got a story to tell there. If you haven't got a story, make one up. But I'm sure you have got a story, and certainly kids have stories to tell there. What's another one? The first time I ever rode on a bike without someone holding it. The first time I ever went to a birthday party. The first time I ever stayed at someone else's house overnight. If I live in the suburbs of Auckland, the first time I ever saw the Sky Tower or went over the Harbour Bridge. Yep, that whole notion of the first time ever really exciting for kids to talk about, to write about. And there's a whole term of topics there if you want to actually go down that path. So there's another example of an open topic. What's yet another example? Well, it might be something like, what's the scariest or funniest moment I can think about? It might be something like, what's the most boring thing I've ever done during a holiday? Look, there's a whole myriad of open topics you can come up with kids. So that's my third point, making sure that kids have a say in what they write about. And one approach to that is making sure that many of your topics are actually what I regard as open topics. Now, my fourth point. My fourth point is just this, that in actual fact, kids ought to be able to sustain a writing topic and task over several sessions. There seems to be this notion around with little kids, with juniors, that a different topic must be taught, must be written about each day. I maintain that if kids are really interested in a topic and a task, at least after 6 months at school, they'll start sustaining it over several days. And of course, with our older kids, if they're really into a topic or a task, they'll want to see it right through to completion. So yeah, it's not around a different topic or task every day. It's how long you can sustain kids' interest in the actual topic or the task. And my fifth point is just this. The need to take account of cultural diversity when you're thinking about topics, when you're thinking about tasks. Now, cultural diversity, I don't just mean ethnicity. I'm also thinking, really importantly, boys, girls. We all know about the huge achievement gap between boys and girls in writing in our country. We're all looking at ways of narrowing that gap. And I maintain that actually thinking about really carefully about topic and task selection is a major way of addressing that gap. I'm going to give you some examples. We know from research, for instance, that boys really like writing about imaginative topics. They like writing those imaginative stories, those imaginative narratives, that imaginative fiction. Yet sometimes they write on topics that drive us round the bend. But my point is they've got to have a chance to do so from time to time. We know from research that, kids will write, boys will write recounts on topics that are really important to them, on experiences that are significant to them. That they will write reports, explanations, etc., quite willingly if they're writing about a topic that's really, really important to them. And there is research out there to tell us as well that boys really enjoy writing structured poetry. They like it when there are rules that go with the poems. And let's face it, they like that because you don't have to write very much. Right, those are the points that I wanted to make about topic and task selection. So important to me. Now, I'm going to finish this by just sharing with you a quote from one of the teachers from my doctoral studies. She talked to me extensively about how important topic and task selection was to her. This is what she said. She suggested that teachers and students have to seize the moment because topic is so essential. She said, I find the best writing is the writing that's, got real purpose. She explained that she didn't in fact have a long-term plan of writing topics because that would not allow us, she said, as a class, to go off and write on the things that we want to write about. Topics will arise according to kids' experiences, needs, interests, and everything like that. And she concluded this with words that are gold to me. Having something to say, something to write about, is of paramount importance to me as a teacher of writing. I agree. I hope you agree as well. I wish you all the best as you continue to think around these notions of task and topic selection, and you continue to think about what will actually engage my kids, what will excite my kids, what will they see as purposeful, meaningful to them in that, and have lots of fun doing it. Thanks.